Hi, hello, and welcome to this session of Business Management Dissertation. And in this session, we will be looking at choosing a research topic. And by the end of this session, you should be able to determine the key attributes of a good research topic. You should also be able to produce a range of ideas that will be useful for selecting a suitable research topic, and also be able to transform a set of selected ideas into a research project with a clear sense for the articulation of your research aim, a set of objectives, and research questions. So before you think of doing a research, it is expected that you should have some ideas of what you want to do. So my first question of the day is, do you have any ideas? Have you thought of any ideas? Do you have any in your notes? Do you have any ideas that you've actually considered? Well, the focal point for commencing your research project is your ability to formulate and clarify your research topic. And in fact, this is regarded as the starting point of your research project. The truth is, the process of formulating and clarifying a topic can actually be very time consuming. And in most cases, it can actually be a very confusing process. However, if this is not done effectively, it is almost impossible to achieve a good proposal or a good dissertation. Now, the initial stages actually involve the production and the refining of your research ideas. And a good way to think about this is by refining your ideas into one that is very feasible. And once you have achieved this, the next step is to turn or transform this into your research objectives and, of course, your research questions. So that takes us to the second question of the day. What are the attributes of a good research topic? Any ideas? Okay, let's see. Now, good research topics must be relevant, and it is important to choose your topics carefully. My advice is always understand the assessment criteria and ensure your topic will enable you meet those set of criteria. And if you are unclear, I think a good practice is to discuss this with your tutor. Now, don't also be that student that selects a topic that makes them pass out. I don't want you guys to pass out. And my advice is it's always good to select a topic or a research topic that you are able to undertake. And in fact, one that you do possess a passion for or one that you possess an interest for. This implies that you must be comfortable with your topic and you should possess the skills to undertake that project. Now, if you do not possess this, that is the skills or the interest, it is actually most unlikely that you would perform well. Now, time is very important, that you must be able to select a topic that you believe can be achieved within a time frame of your course of study. Now, I've seen scenarios where students have selected topics that can be achieved in 3 years. I think that's a big problem. Now, so some topics may also require you to do some travel. Some may require some form of expenses or some expensive equipment, right? But given this dissertation, you do not need those type of topics. What you really need is a topic that would not affect your ability. And ability here means that you should consider topics that provides you with an opportunity to gain access to the data you would require for your research. Now, also for most topics, it's very essential that one can link their research to theory. And this is good practice and it helps you define your study. As part of a good dissertation, it is good to set your topics in context. And this will require you to do some reading, some very rich reading, so that you can have good knowledge of the literature. This then helps you define the research questions and the research objectives. And once you have a research idea, it is important that you ensure that your research objectives and research questions must be related to the idea. Because if the research objectives and questions do not relate to the research idea, then that means you are not doing a great job. Now, my final tip is given the dissertations, it's always good to consider your career outlook, especially as you prepare for life after the university. And if you want to be an expert in your chosen field or the industry or sector you want to play in or you want to work in, it is good practice to select a topic that definitely fits with your career aspiration. I think this provides you with a good advantage and makes you knowledgeable about the key underpinnings within that sector. So if you look at the checklist is here for you, right? A topic must be something you're fascinated in, right? You must have an interest in. It must be achievable within the available time frame. It must be a project that also fits within the time frame. The questions you want to ask yourself is, can I achieve this project within the course of study? Again, you should look at a topic that kind of contains issues that can be linked to theory. You must also ask yourself, are my research objectives and research questions clear? And also, do my research topics kind of align with my career goals, or do they match my career goals? So I think a good starting point is to look at this checklist and ask yourself these questions and see if you can actually address or capture the key underpinnings within this checklist. Now, in terms of generating research ideas, a good starting point is your ability to examine your strengths. And a good advice is that you should select a topic in which you are certain that you would perform well. And I think it's always proper to have an interest in that topic, as well as a topic which is a searchable one, that is one that you can easily search online and see if you can gain reliable materials. I think this can in part be achieved through reading, so that you are able to focus precisely on the sort of ideas that you may wish to select for your research. Now, it's always good to draw inspiration from past projects or from past project titles. And I always tell my students it's difficult to learn how to drive if you haven't watched someone drive before. And it's difficult to learn how to swim if you haven't watched someone swim before. And I think same applies to selecting a topic. So it is useful to look at past projects that people have done so that you can use this to generate your ideas and perhaps as a source of inspiration. So search for theses, search for previous projects, and you can do this by scanning previous project titles and any interesting topic that catches your attention. And in most cases, scanning actual research projects help produce good research ideas. Also, searching for literature, articles, reports, professional journals, and books are very useful. And I think in generating ideas, you should consider these articles, these reports, these books, in most cases, conference proceedings. Now, review articles are useful because they do contain state-of-the-art knowledge of a particular topic area. Reports and books are also timely and can also be very useful because they also have the capacity or the ability to provide or suggest good ideas to you. You should also keep a note of these ideas, and this implies noting or capturing any interesting research ideas that sparks your interest. And finally, brainstorming. I think brainstorming as a technique can be used to generate and refine your research ideas. However, brainstorming is actually best undertaken by a group of people, but that doesn't imply that you can't brainstorm alone. Brainstorm alone. I do that all the time. So brainstorming involves defining a problem, asking for suggestions, recording those suggestions, reviewing them, and analyzing them. I think this kind of gives you a good approach to generating research ideas. So topic hints, Google, very useful, right? Type in some of your search words, key possible topics in Google. This can be useful. You can also check databases, Web of Science, Wiley, Springerlink. They can be very useful. Sometimes you can also turn to the last section of any journal articles and look for their future studies, the future recommendations. This can give you insight into possible areas that you may decide to ground your work on or pursue. Again, go on Google, type in thesis, type in the topic and type in thesis, or type in dissertation, then put PDF as your keywords. You would see a range of results that can actually help you articulate your research ideas. Then, of course, it's always good to consider doing research within your geographical area, maybe within Scotland, so that at least you can gain access to data. You can access respondents you want to conduct your survey or your interview. And it's often good to also read through sections of articles to see if there are any suggestions that actually appeal to you. So, in summary, the process of formulating and clarifying a research topic is very, very important. It's a very important part of your research. It helps enhance your research, your thesis, your data, right? The most important is also ensure that your topic meets the requirements of the dissertations. Your topic, you must have the capacity, the capability, the ability, and you must have a passion for a topic you want to choose, and also consider your ability to gain access to the data required for your data collection process. I think this should be helpful in helping you articulate your research topics, and look forward to speaking to you when we meet online and when we meet in person in the coming days and coming weeks. Thank you.